Hey everyone, this is Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com, and I am back here with another hand history review for you guys. So today's hand was sent to me by Apostolos from Greece. I apologize if I got that name wrong. So he has pocket queens in middle position in a 6 max 1 cent, 2 cent game. So let's jump right into the action. So Villain 8 comes out of the gate with a mini raise. So let's jump right into some of the stats that Apostolos gave me here. So this player is the huge fish recreational player at the table. He is a 70 VPIP and a 4 aggression factor. 4 preflop raise. Now, if you don't know what these stats mean, these are HUD stats that you can get on your table that basically give you the player type in online poker. There'll be a link in the description below where you can get these stats on your table. But basically, when I see somebody who is a 74, that's VPIP and PFR, that is no question that's a recreational player. That is a huge fish. That is the entire reason why we play the game, and Apostolos has the right seat as well, directly to the left of that player. So what should we do here? Well, with the third best hand in Hold'em, you should definitely be putting in a sizable re-raise here. I would typically make this 20 cents to go at NL2. As I talked about in Crushing the Micro Stakes and in the hundreds of articles on my website, at NL2, they just don't fold anything, so I'm always sizing my raises upwards at NL2 specifically. So I would go with at least 20 cents here, but Apostolos goes for 6 cents. Now, he told me in the email that this was a mistake. And now, unfortunately, the thing is that is going to completely change the complexion of the hand, because this is just not the correct way to play this hand. It's just losing massive value, especially at these stakes, by not getting more money in the middle with a correct raise with the third best hand in Hold'em. So this is going to completely change the complexion of the hand. It is very, very important when you guys are playing that, especially when you get dealt one of these high-end premium hands like this, you can't afford to be making mistakes like this, because so much, if you go into your poker tracker and you look at the hands that are the big winners for you, you will be shocked. You might be shocked to see that literally, actually, half of your winnings will come from aces and kings alone. And your next most profitable hand is, you probably guessed it, the one you're looking at right now, pocket queens. So anytime that you misplay these hands, whether it's a misclick or a mistake or whatever it is, you're making a massive, this is a huge problem for your long-term win rate, because these hands just don't come around very often and you need to play them correctly. So, there was a mistake made in this hand, as Apostolos told me, but that is totally going to change the complexion of the hand. I guess that's really all I can say going forward with that. So Villain 4 decides to come in for the mini re-raise. When I first saw this hand, I was like, wait a minute, are we playing Limit Hold'em here? I don't know what's going on. So Apostolos technically gets saved here because he can re-raise now. So this is definitely the second mistake in the hand, is just calling here, is because now when you make the mistake pre-flop, you actually have a chance to remedy that mistake by now making it like 50 cents to go, because the action was opened after you, if you guys are following what I'm saying here. So guys, and Apostolos, the main point here is to make sure that your pre-flop game is down. You can't afford to be making mistakes like this. Now you see them. There's already been 2 mistakes made in this hand, and we haven't made it to the flop here. And I always want to throw in the disclaimer here when I'm reviewing these hands that people send to me on YouTube. My intention is never to put down the person and to say, oh, you play bad or something. My intention is always to help here. So please understand that everything I'm saying here is to try to help you, Apostolos, and for everyone else watching us. So guys, you need to make sure that your pre-flop raise sizes are down. If you don't know what they are, just download the free ebook that's the top link in the description, Massive Profit at the Micros. I give you the exact raise sizes for opening raises, 3 bets, everything. It's all laid out for you. It's a free 50-page ebook. You can't go wrong with free. So there's a lot of issues with this hand thus far, and it's going to make talking about the rest of the hand difficult, because I would just never be in this position in the first place. But anyways, let's get to the flop and get to it. So we're in a massive multi-way pot here. There's only one player at the table who's not involved, and we get a pretty good flop, but not the greatest flop either. It's a very, very draw-heavy 5-3-6 2 clubs flop. With so many people in the hand, there's very good chance that somebody has a pair and a draw, 2 pair. There is 1 or 2 possible made straights, but those are probably more unlikely hands with the 2-4, and that's a made straight, right? Yeah, 2-4 and 7-4, I think, are the 2 made straights that I see. Those hands are probably unlikely, but you get what I mean. There's a lot of possibilities of sets. People could have pocket 5s, pocket 3s, pocket 6s. So it's kind of a dicey spot here when we have the big overpair, but there's so many people in the hand that there's a decent chance that somebody could actually have us beat at this point. But on the flip side, there's a ton of hands that people will give us action with that we are ahead of, such as pocket jacks, pocket 10s, pocket 9s, pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 4s. Lots of pair plus flush draw type hands, maybe a ace 3 of clubs, for instance. Actually, that hand would be a slight favorite against us technically, but you get what I mean. It's a tricky spot because there's a lot of hands there's a lot of hands that'll have equity on this flop. So again, going back to pre-flop, that's why it makes it difficult in this situation. My suggestion, as always, is don't ever put yourself in positions like this in the first place. Make the correct decisions before the flop, and then situations on the flop like this never happen. So, anyways, villain 7 checks. Villain 8, remember, is the huge fish recreational player. He comes in for his full fishiness here of 2 cents and 41 cents. A mathematically meaningless bet, of course. Anybody with any 2 cards, if you have 2 napkins in your hand, you should be calling right now. Because you're getting, 80 to 1 on the pot, or whatever the heck it is. So what should we do here with pocket queens? Well, I would actually just ignore the 2 cents. Like I said, it's not even a real bet. And I would probably make it about 30 cents to go here. But Apostolos decides to just call. I'm going to have to disagree with this decision again. I think you're just losing value. I think that you're giving every draw in the world just a free card here. It's a mathematically meaningless bet. So any wacky draw can just call here and draw it on you for free. You're not charging those hands. You're not charging hands like I talked about before, like pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 10s that you're ahead of. You're not getting value from those. So I think it's a huge mistake to just call here on the flop. I think that we definitely need to make it about 30 cents or so just simply for value. So there's a call behind. Then somebody does actually make it 30 cents. And the fishy player, Villain 8, decides to come in for the mini raise. It's one of the craziest hands I've ever seen. Honestly, guys, I don't really know what to say at this point. Sometimes, again, I'm not... Thank you so much for sending me this hand, Apostolos, but it is a little bit difficult for me to... sometimes with these hands that people send me to give a real... recommendation for how I would play it, because I just wouldn't be in this spot in the first place. It's a wacky hand, going back to pre-flop and kind of all the less than optimal decisions that were made. I honestly don't know in this spot. I guess the fold is probably the best play given the action and everything now, because once again, as I said, I think there's probably quite a few hands that have some pretty big equity at least. In a spot like this, I'm just going to run through. You guys can, because all the money gets in, you guys can see the hands that actually get shown down here. So the one guy had ace-8, which would have been, I think, a slight, maybe a slight favorite against pocket queens on the flop with 9 outs to the flush plus 3 outs to the ace. So slight underdog, 12 outs. And the other guy had pocket 7s, which we were a slight favorite against. So as you can see, guys, I mean, we talked about ranges before. I mean, both hands had some reasonable equity. It's just one of those wacky spots, though. I go back to pre-flop. It all starts there, guys. You got to make the right decisions pre-flop, or it completely changes the complexion of the game. And you just get yourself in all these completely unnecessary spots like this. So that where you're not getting max value. So especially with these big hands, that's really, I think, kind of be the point of this video for me, is to just recommend to you guys, especially with your big hands, aces, kings, queens, ace, king, guys, when you get those hands, make sure you're making the right decisions. Once again, if you don't know what the right decisions are, the proper raise size, just check out the free ebook at the top link in the description, Massive Profit of the Micros. I give you all the amounts to make it. It's a cheat sheet that tells you exactly what to do. So if you guys like videos like this, make sure you give it a like, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see lots more micro stakes hand history reviews like this. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. It's been Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com.